You're listening to the Power Agent Blogcast, empowering agents to elevate their business to the next level.
Challenges are just a guide, leading you, don't run and hide. You've got the heart, you've got the drive, feel it pound, you're alive. Power Agent.
Welcome back to the Power Agent Blogcast. Today we're going to be talking about something that I think a lot of real estate agents are, kind of scared of phone prospecting.
Yeah, it is kind of strange, isn't it? I mean, it's just picking up the phone, right? But it can be really scary even for, agents who've been doing this for a while.
So do you think it's more about the way people think about prospecting instead of actually having to, make the calls?
That's a great point. I think a lot of agents get caught up in this idea that every call has to lead to an appointment. And then it's like, every call is this big test, pass or fail.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody likes feeling that kind of pressure.
Yeah. And I bet that makes it even harder to handle those times when you get a no.
Absolutely. Each rejection feels like a personal attack, and that can be really tough on your confidence. But what if we changed our mindset a bit?
Okay, so what do you mean?
Instead of thinking about each call as a potential sale, what if we thought about it as a chance to, offer our expertise and be helpful?
So kind of like we're not salespeople, but more like consultants.
Exactly. Instead of leading with a pitch, we start a conversation. We actually want to know what the person on the other end needs, what their challenges are, and what their goals are. And get this, there's actually research that shows this approach can be super effective.
Really? Research. I'm always up for some good research. Tell me more.
So there was this study done by researchers at the University of Pennsylvania. They found that the salespeople who focused on building relationships, that service mindset we were just talking about, those salespeople had a way higher closing rate than those who just used the old high-pressure tactics.
I guess that makes sense if you think about it. When you feel like someone's just trying to sell you something, you get defensive. But if they're a trusted advisor, you're more willing to listen.
Exactly. And that's where techniques like NLP can be super powerful.
NLP. I know some of our listeners might not be familiar with that. Could you explain what that is?
Sure. NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. It's basically the study of how our thoughts, language, and behavior all work together. And when it comes to prospecting, NLP can help you build rapport, figure out your prospect's communication style, and then tailor your message so it really connects with them.
So it's not just about what you say, it's how you say it.
Right.
And how you connect with the person on the other end of the line.
You got it. One NLP technique is mirroring and matching. That's where you subtly adapt your language and body language to kind of match theirs and create that connection.
I've heard of mirroring before, when you're trying to connect with someone at a party and you subtly copy their posture or something. But how does that work on the phone?
It's a little different on the phone. It's more about mirroring their tone and pace, even their word choices. For example, if they're talking really fast and using a lot of technical terms, you might want to speed up your speech a bit and use similar language. On the other hand, if they talk slowly and use more casual words, you'll adjust your style accordingly. It's all about finding that harmony and understanding. It's pretty amazing how just these tiny little changes in how we talk can make a huge difference. And, the cool thing about NLP is that it's a skill like anything else. You can get better with practice.
So you're saying it's not some people are born with this magical ability to connect with others?
Nope, not at all. It's all about being aware of your own communication style and learning how to adapt to, different people and situations. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes.
Okay, so let's say I'm totally on board with this NLP thing, and I want to try this whole service-oriented approach to prospecting. Where do I even begin?
Well, one of the best places to start is by crafting a really strong opening line. Ditch those generic scripts that sound like, a robot's reading them.
Yeah, the ones that make you feel kind of awkward even before you dial the number.
Exactly. You want something that sparks their interest and makes them see you as someone who can help them right from the get-go. You could try something like, "Hi, prospect's name. I'm calling because I've been keeping an eye on the market in your area, and I've come across some information that could be valuable to you."
That definitely sounds a lot better than the old, "Are you thinking about buying or selling?" line.
Right. It instantly positions you as someone who knows what's going on in the market and is genuinely interested in helping them out.
But what if they're not thinking about buying or selling right now?
No worries. Remember, the goal isn't always to get an appointment on the first call. It's about, starting that conversation, building a connection, and planting the seed for future opportunities. You could say something like, Hey, I totally get that you might not be in the market right now, but I'd still love to chat about what's happening in your neighborhood. It's good to stay informed, even if you're not planning to move anytime soon.
I like that. It takes the pressure off both of you. It feels like you're just having a friendly conversation, not trying to force a sale.
You got it. And you'd be surprised how many people are open to a casual conversation, even if they're not actively looking to buy or sell at this very moment.
So let's say the conversation is going well. How do you move from just providing information to, subtly letting them know you're the agent to call when they're ready to buy or sell?
That's where your questions come in. Instead of just, throwing information at them, ask open-ended questions that help you understand what they need and what motivates them.
So instead of asking, are you thinking of upsizing?
Yeah.
You could have something like, what are your long-term goals for your living situation?
Exactly. That way, you're not making assumptions or putting them on the spot. You're giving them the space to share their thoughts and feelings, and you're really listening to understand their perspective.
And then, based on what they tell you, you can tailor your message to address their specific needs.
Exactly. And as you get to know their situation better, you can subtly start talking about your experience and how you can help them. For instance, if they say they're worried about the current market, you could say, yeah, I understand that. It's definitely something to consider. I've been helping my clients navigate this market for years, and I've got a pretty good track record of getting them the best results.
It's all about showing them what you know in a way that feels helpful and genuine, not like you're bragging or trying to pressure them.
You nailed it. And don't forget, confidence is super important.
Okay, but how do you stay confident when you're, like, freaking out inside just thinking about making these calls?
Try this. Visualization. Before you pick up the phone, take a few minutes to imagine yourself having great conversations, building rapport with potential clients, and helping them achieve their real estate goals. Picture it going well.
So it's like creating a movie in your mind where you're the star and the movie ends with a standing ovation.
Yeah, something like that. The point is to train your mind to focus on positive outcomes. It can really affect how you perform.
I like that. It's about changing that inner voice from, I'm going to mess this up, to, I got this.
Exactly. And another trick is to reframe rejection. Instead of seeing it as a personal failure, think of it as valuable information.
So instead of thinking they don't like me, you think, okay, this approach didn't work. What can I learn from this, and how can I try something different next time?
Exactly. Every no is just a stepping stone to finding the yeses.
This is starting to sound a lot less scary than I thought it would.
It can be once you shift your perspective and have a plan. And remember, practice makes perfect, or at least, less scary and more effective.
Okay, but what about those times when the self-doubt creeps in? Even when you're trying your best to stay positive, what do you do about that?
Self-doubt, it's kind of part of the deal when you're an entrepreneur. I mean, it's totally normal to feel that way sometimes, especially when you're pushing yourself to do things that are outside your comfort zone. But you can't let those feelings, stop you from doing what you need to do.
So how do you keep those doubts from taking over and, making you want to give up?
One thing that can really help is to surround yourself with a good support system, connect with other agents who get it, who understand the ups and downs of this business, join some online forums, or maybe find a mentor who can give you some guidance and, cheer you on.
It's like having your own personal pet squad, right? To remind you that you're not in this alone.
Exactly. And hey, remember this. You've already accomplished a lot just by being in this industry. You've built a business, helped people find their dream homes, and, dealt with all sorts of challenges along the way. So tap into that strength you already have. Remind yourself of what you're capable of.
Yeah, it's all about celebrating those wins and acknowledging how far you've come.
You got it. And, if those doubts just won't go away, don't be afraid to reach out for professional help. A therapist or a coach can give you some really useful tools and strategies for dealing with anxiety and building your confidence back up.
It takes strength to ask for help when you need it.
Absolutely. Remember, you're not alone in this. Tons of agents have felt that fear of prospecting and overcome it. You can too. It's all about changing how you think about it, getting those skills sharpened, and just taking action, even when it feels scary.
So what we really want our listeners to take away from this today is this. Prospecting doesn't have to be this icky, pushy thing. It's really about connecting with people, being helpful, and building relationships.
That's what it's all about. When you focus on providing value and being of service, that fear starts to fade away. And you know what? You open yourself up to a whole world of opportunities. You build a stronger business, learn some valuable skills, and you actually make a real difference in people's lives. And that's a pretty great feeling, isn't it?
I totally agree. Well, thanks for sharing your insights with us today. And to everyone listening, we hope this conversation has helped you see phone prospecting in a whole new light. Remember, every conversation is a chance to learn, grow, and connect with someone new. So embrace the challenge and watch your business thrive. We'll catch you next time on the Power Agent Blogcast.